What secret could ruin your life? A while back, I was cheating on my wife with a coworker. It went on for months, and I never really cared for the woman I was cheating with. She was super hot, though. After a while my coworker started getting really crazy and threatening to tell my wife, whom I had a child with and a baby on the way, about everything. Obviously, I kept trying to cut things off because I realized I was making a mistake. She lost it one night and was freaking out and texting me telling me she was going to come to my house and a drunk driver hit her. She died instantly. No one knows I was having an affair and my family went to her funeral. This secret is a bad one. When I was 15 and incredibly lonely one summer I decided to make an aCupid account. For those of you who don't know, that's a dating website for people 18 plus. I looked probably about 17 at the time, but I guess I could pass for 18. So I said I was 18 on my account. I got a lot of responses from guys instantly. There was this one that stood out to me. His name was James. He was a 22-year-old college student working at Tim Hortons, but me at 15 thought he was the most intelligent and beautiful person I've ever met. We talked for 3 months, and then he turned 23. Now the age gap was 8 years. After those 3 summer months of staying up all night we decided to meet up in person. It was Labor Day weekend when we met up. He picked me up from a gas station and drove me to his house. We lived 3 hours away, and I told him that my car didn't work, but really I only had my permit and no car. I honestly think I fell in love with him, and we hit it off completely. He was really attractive and different from guys my age. Guys my age would make fun of how I looked because they were insecure themselves and tease me a lot when they were interested in me, which just confused me. But James would compliment me and joke with me, but never made me feel insecure. I really loved him, but when the relationship progressed he was talking about having sex, and I told him that I was a virgin, which he was okay with. But after I turned 16 I realized that he was a 23-year-old man who could get in a lot of trouble if he was to sleep with me. I never told him my age because I knew he'd be disgusted with himself, so I just cut all ties with him all day. I figured it was selfish to keep him around. He needed somebody who could be 100% honest with him. So in March I basically blocked him on all social media and my phone. He didn't know where I lived, and I never saw or spoke to him again. It's been 2 years, but I sometimes stalk his Facebook. He's actually engaged now and graduated college. I'm so happy that everything is going well for him. I'm only 18 now, but I hope one day I'll find a guy who is as great as James. TLDR, I made an account on a dating website at 15 and formed a long relationship with a man who was 23 lying to him about my age. Edit, guys, if I told him about my age he'd be disgusted with himself. I was 15 at the time. I'm roughly 5 years into a relationship and still have no idea if I want to marry the girl. This was me last year. 5 years in she wanted to get engaged. She said I was the one. I wasn't sure because she was the only girlfriend I'd ever had. So I pushed her to pursue her career while I traveled. By the time I came home 8 months later I was ready to settle down, but it was too late. She had found happiness in another guy. I haven't heard her voice in over 4 months. I miss my best friend. I guess the last good thread like this started 5 years ago today. So, I'm 19. I'm gay. My parents are very conservative Catholics and would disown me if they found out. Not only that, I have had oral and penetrative sex with several men. Most of my town are Orthodox Christians and would ruin my life if my secret ever got out. The issue is, my voice is changing, and now I sound like a gay person and cannot stop it. Hope this gets buried. Okay, so my family are super religious, especially my mother. She wants me to be religious too, but I've become a bit disillusioned with religion. I know this would kill her, simply for the fact that she's a refugee and her reliance on a higher power has gotten her through all of her struggles and strife without even a lick of PTSD. She's a single mother also, and I just admire her so much getting to where she has without any help. I just don't think I'd ever tell her that I haven't been praying 5 times a day or even thinking about God in any way. It would kill her. TL, Doctor, I killed my family. One night about a decade ago, when I was 8 years old, I couldn't sleep at night, so I was just walking around the house, looking for something to do. It was winter, so there was fire in the fireplace. I started playing with it, throwing stuff into it, watching how it burns. At one point, a big log rolled out of the fireplace. As a kid, I started to panic. I tried to cover it with a blanket, then ran out to the kitchen to get some water. When I came back, the whole living room was on fire. It was a wooden house. I was terrified, ran out of the house. Literally within a minute, it was burning like crazy. My older sister, younger brother, and mom, who was pregnant at the time, all died instantly. Dad was working a night shift. No one really questioned me. My room had window, and I said I left through it when I saw the fire. The real cause has never been found. My dad was absolutely devastated, and a few weeks later shot himself. I found his body. I've been living with my grandparents ever since. No one knows what really happened that night. I spent half of my life with therapists. I hate myself, have a severe depression, attempted a suicide a while ago. I smoke W***D almost every day. I'm in line for a promotion, and have been working hard to get it. If my boss found out, there's no way she would give it to me. She hates weed, and is vocal about it. It wouldn't be so much the weed, just that I didn't tell her. Throw away. I have literally fabricated my entire life and identity. I'm not who I say I am, and my backstory is not the one anyone knows. At any moment, I could be revealed, and that terrifies me. I didn't expect to build a life for myself under this identity. It was never supposed to last. Now I'm stuck. Some guy convinced naive 15-year-old me to send nudes, and then used it against me for 6 months. He found me on Facebook, and threatened to send them to my friends list if I didn't do whatever he asked me to. He would make me get online whenever he asked, and have me masturbate for him. He even tried to get me to meet up with him in person. I got really lucky when his profiles just disappeared one day, and I took that opportunity to delete every social media account I had. I haven't gone back since, and I never will. It really had me up for a while, but I don't really have anyone to blame but myself. It's been 6 years since, and I still haven't told anyone I know this story. Edit. For those of you asking why I didn't go to the police, I'm a South Asian female with a very conservative family. I didn't see telling my family about what happened as an option at the time, and I still don't. I just wanted this whole situation to go away as soon as possible. I get paid a 6-figure salary for a standard 40-hour-a-week corporate job for a massive well-known company. In a given week I do maybe an hour of actual work. The rest of the time I'm on Reddit or YouTube slacking off. I thought when I got this job that eventually someone would figure out I don't do anything all day, but here I'm 14 years later still doing ***** all, and getting paid a lot for it. My cousin ****ed me several times. My grandmother passed away yesterday, and my father is making funeral arrangements and needs me there with him. I'm panicked because I need to be with my father, but that same cousin will be there. He will try again. I don't know what to do. I know it's easy to say, don't be left alone with him, but who knows what he will pull to do it. He's insane. He's a bodybuilder. I'm a 5'1" female. This is causing a serious strain on my mental health. In less than 24 hours, I've pretty much shut down completely. I called out of work because I cannot handle being around people. Edit. I did not expect this kind of response. Thank you to everyone who has encouraged me to tell someone, and ***** you to the one person that thinks it's super easy to do so. I'm 30. This started when I was 14. I spent summers with the family, and he always found a way to trap me. I would pretend that I was asleep, and I would tense up, but he'd do everything in his power, including, not limited to, using other objects to hurt me. My father and I weren't close for many years. We've only come back into each other's lives since my mom passed away about 4 years ago. It's not exactly the easiest thing to come clean about, especially since it's his sister's son. This is upstate New York. Possibly the most relatable. I don't care about the company or my work beyond a professional level. I do my work well, because I'm paid, but I'm not working extra for free. I don't buy into the mission at all, and the only reason I don't want the place to go belly up is so I don't lose my job. If corporate heard this, it could ruin your life, because a lot have bought into / force feed the delusion that work equals life. Hell, I know people who have been clearly shoved out of companies because of this. Tech is real bad about it. This isn't to say that I don't work hard for my time, but I get paid for 40 hours. I work hard for 40. You expect 60? Pay me and I'll do it, but I don't care about the company or changing the world, so I won't do it for free. Edit. Holy shit, this blew up. When I say this is a secret, I mean that if my coworkers and I said this to anyone in management, we'd be reamed, possibly fired, and could have our career ruined in the industry for not being motivated. I realize many people feel this way too. I'd say it's normal, but I called it a secret because we can't say it out loud to most people. Second, I'm not against working more than 40 hours, but I'm against working without compensation. Right before rollout of a product, I can understand working 60 hours for 2 weeks out of the year to ensure it arrives on time, assuming that is baked into the compensation in some manner. But then when 60 hours a week becomes the norm for all 52 weeks, but pay doesn't rise, then I have a problem. Similarly, I understand people who put in 80-hour weeks at a startup to get it running, and as part owners get multi-million-dollar returns. But don't expect me to do the same when you're paying me $75k a year. This is gonna get buried, but I'm depressed and suicidal. Last summer I tried to kill myself. I put a gun in my mouth. The only thing that stopped me was my cat happened to walk into the closet where I was. If anyone in real life saw this, they would treat me like I'm a landmine about to explode. I'm in serious debt because of a drug addiction I used to have, of which my family didn't know I had. I'm almost 2 years clean now, but I can hardly pay any bills I have, and I'm afraid to ask any family member for money because I know I can't pay them back in the near future. I've been in a strictly sexual relationship with a first cousin for the last 5 years. We only ever saw each other once or twice a year growing up, before she moved to the other side of the country, and then never really saw or interacted with each other again until 5 years ago, when she moved back. What started as us meeting up once in a while has become a regular thing in the last few months. It's escalated to the point where we are now sexting each other. I'm scared to death of what might happen if anyone in our family finds out, but I don't want to stop what's happening either. Here's the story. It all started out very slow before it escalated into full-on sex. I was informed by another cousin of ours and asked to help her move since I was free at the time. We started hanging out throughout that summer, and then one afternoon we had brunch and then went back to chill at her apartment. It was a super hot day, so we thought, let's just go indoors and relax and watch some TV or a movie. I can't remember what we were watching, but we were chatting the whole time too, just talking about our relatives and what we were looking to do with our lives and careers. After a while she kind of just leaned on me and got comfortable, and I threw my arm around her, almost instinctively, and were just hanging out like that for a bit. Eventually she gave me a lingering look that was kind of asking what's happening here, and we both went in for a kiss. We were both shocked that it happened, but we got over it fast and started making out and running our hands all over each other until my hand was up her skirt touching her through her panties, and then I realized what we were doing and stopped it from going any further. We both came to our senses and stopped before anything went any further. We decided to forget it happened and move past it, but every time we met up after that we'd make out and push our boundaries until we eventually ended up having sex. Afterwards, we were meeting up regularly until we both got really busy with work and only met up on occasion. We completely stopped when each of us had a significant other, but would start hooking up again every so often when we are single. As mentioned before, now it's become a regular occurrence where we hook up multiple times a week, and we've been sexting with each other now. This won't ruin me because I've already went no contact with my mom, but it still hurts and is a big secret I've not told anyone. When I was a kid, I had asthma pretty bad, so I'd be up all night, coughing constantly. My mom and I lived with her parents. We shared a room, so I slept in her bed often when I was a toddler. Mom would come home from work and lay down for bed, but I'd keep her awake with my coughing. Sometimes at night I'd be coughing and she would hug me so tight that I couldn't breathe. It would really distress me that I couldn't breathe, but I knew mom loved me so much and I didn't want to tell her she was literally squeezing me to death because I was afraid of hurting her feelings. So I'd just tell her that I loved her so much and she would cry pretty hard after that. Took me years after having my own kid and treating him gently to figure out that it's actually pretty difficult to squeeze a kid so hard that they couldn't breathe. Mom is bipolar and has had other incidents of hurting people and abandoning those in her care that need medication and can't take care of themselves. So, I finally put it together and figured out mom would be so agitated with my asthma that she would try to stop me from coughing by squeezing me almost to death. And then she would cry out of guilt when I told her I loved her